Alright. Hi there, if you're a new subscriber, welcome to the community, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So today I want to talk about a topic that's quite close to my heart, being in the media and doing what I do. How to evolve past negativity / how to deal with haters. So the media for too long has led us to believe that we must either hate something or love something. The media is about numbers, so obviously the media is going to tell you that you must feel some type of way about something. Whether you love it or you hate it, it's a number and it's counted as a number. It matters. It doesn't matter if you love it or you hate it, as long as you have an opinion about it. So jumping into my story, about a year ago I was on vacation in Mombasa. I was just having a good time and I sent some photos. My friend asked me to send some photos of myself to her on her WhatsApp. So she put a picture on her WhatsApp status saying how I was enjoying living my life. And one of her acquaintances comments on the picture to say, I hate her. And that was really off. She told me about it. I had to force her to tell me who it was, but she couldn't say it. And then on my birthday, a few months down the line, the same girl, the friend posts a picture of me again, and the same girl goes to comment, ugh, hate her. And I was like, that is very odd considering I do not know this girl besides one encounter that we'd had, but I don't know her as a person. So why would she hate me? Like, why would she hate me? Where does it come from? So I asked my friend who this person was, and my friend disclosed who the person was. So she told me that, oh, this is this person, and she asked her, why do you hate her? And she's like, oh, I hate her because of what I've heard about her. Which is very odd because we've never even met. Like, okay, we had met once, but we've never even talked or had a conversation or anything. But it took me back to a situation that we'd had. So the same girl, a few months before, was hosting an event where I was speaking at. I was speaking at an event, and she introduced me in a very weird way, which was kind of like the energy was a bit off. She was like, oh, don't catch any feelings, don't like react in some type of way. And I was like, why would you think that I would do that? Is there something you know that I don't know? Anyway, I had my speech, had good conversation, that was over, but the energy was a bit off, and I told my boyfriend about it. I was like, that seemed a bit off. And he was like, no, you're reading too much into it. So when my friend posted my picture and she said, I hate her, I was like, yeah, energy don't lie. She really does hate me. And so then I was like, why would you hate somebody you don't know? Why would you hate somebody you've never met? So let's break it down. Hate. It's a very strong word. I don't think I hate anybody. Do I hate anybody? I can't think of one right now. At best, I'm indifferent. And I think I really revel in that indifference. Hate, by definition from Google, is strong dislike for someone. So you really, really don't like someone so much so that it burns up your soul when you see them, when you hear about them, and you hate them. And most times we don't even know why we hate things or we hate people. It's been taught to us, and I always say that love is natural, but hate is learned. So you learn how to hate people, you learn how to hate things. That's something that you're taught. But love is a very natural setting. So for me, my natural set point is to love people. If they wrong me in some type of way, yeah, I might dislike you, but I'm able to separate the action from the human being. I dislike what you do, I might hate what you do, but I don't hate any human beings. So due to what the media has led us to believe, you must either be a fan or a hater or something. The media people, media personalities, actors, actresses, musicians, and all that, they have to endure that from people because that's what the media counts. You either have fans or haters, and the mere fact that you have fans means you're going to have people who strongly hate you because some people strongly love you. That's just a dynamic that's out there. Can it be changed? Perhaps. I think it can. So for this video, I thought we'd discuss types of hate and how you can try to deal with them. If you have haters, that is, or if you think you have some haters, how you can deal with it and how you can get past the situation. So first, we're going to describe the type of hate, and then we're going to give an example and how you probably can deal with it. It's not conclusive, but it's probably ideas of how I personally dealt with such situations, and maybe how you can use it in your own life. So there are two types of hate, in my opinion. There is hate that is valid, I call it valid hate, and there is hate that is invalid. It's all hate, but depending on you, the one who is receiving it. Is it valid or is it invalid? So let's talk about valid hate. Somebody hates you and it's valid. Why would they hate you? Let's give an example one. You have a friend that you're friends with, you're close to, and you hurt them sometime. You either know that you hurt them or you didn't know that you hurt them, but you hurt them nevertheless. So when they see about you, when they hear about you, they feel some type of way. They are not pleased to hear about you. They might even go to lengths to prove their hate. So that hate to me is valid. I wronged you at some point and you're going through it. When you see me, you're not happy about it. I might know about it, I might not know about it, but either way, your hate for me is valid because you have some emotion that's unprocessed Either you're aware of it or you're not, because if you're aware of it, you probably won't hate me. You would want to process it and get past it. But maybe you're not aware of the actual damage that it did to you. You just know that you were hurt. You haven't processed that hurt. So that hurt then turns to hate. So you decide that, okay, I hate this person because they hurt me in this way. So me as a person who hurt you, if I care about you and I care about the friendship, I'll come back and say, I'm sorry. I hurt you. Your feelings valid and I was wrong. If I really know that I was wrong. If you haven't talked to me about it, that's a bit complicated because I don't know how to go past that. You've never talked to me about it. All I get is weird vibes when we're around. Like we used to be friends and now we're not anymore. What happened here? And then when I go around and I hear that you were saying bad things about me, I don't know what wrong I did, but your hate is still valid. I wouldn't want you to express it. I would want you to process what you're going through and heal from it. But your hate is valid, and that's valid hate. So where you know that you wronged someone and you can apologize, do apologize. If you don't know the situation, maybe you can ask if you want to. If they're not accommodating, then you let them be and you let the friendship go. Just let it be. Now, the second experience I've had with hate personally, seen with other people, maybe people I've strongly disliked. You strongly dislike people, you don't like their opinions. When you don't like their opinions, when you don't agree with their values. Personally, like I said, I want to separate the person and the actions. So I might really hate what you believe in. I might really hate your values. It doesn't mean that I hate you. That's a huge difference. But yeah, people who hate some people hate their values. So they're not able to tell that difference. So you hate their values and you hate this person. And like I said, hate is learned. So you have been taught, for example, in religion, that this is what the world should be like. If somebody differs from that, instead of hating the thing or disliking the thing that they're doing, you end up disliking the person as a whole. I don't like that human being. I don't like what they stand for. I don't like what they believe in. I think one of the most strong things that people feel is politics. Politics can draw a wedge between people. So, oh, you like that guy, why do you like that guy? I don't like what you believe in, so I don't like you. So that is another type of valid hate. It should be processed, obviously, so it shouldn't be hate anymore. It is valid when the people are not able to separate the hate for the thing from the hate for the person. So when you see that people hate you for your opinions, for what you believe in, take a step back and analyze the situation and say, okay, am I portraying harmful views? Am I portraying things that may be harming people? Because I'm a sole believer in not harming other people. So are you portraying views that harm other people? If you are, then consider taking a step back and say, okay, it doesn't matter how I feel, I'm harming other people, let me stop, you know? So that can be a change that you can make. But in case you're doing things that have best intentions, that are well-meaning, and people hate you for them, if you're fighting for human rights, if you're fighting for people who have been bullied, you're going to have unpopular opinions. If you're probably advocating for that politician that not everybody sees eye to eye with, but you know this is the best thing for the country or stuff like that, then you know that, okay, my heart is in the right place, my intentions are in the right place, I am not harming anybody in my quest. But also be teachable. So if people are correcting you on some things and you're like, okay, you see it that way, I didn't see it that way, we can learn this and that, be open to all of that, but know that your heart is in the right place and you keep doing what you're doing, keep fighting what you're fighting for. But in that fight, understand other people, give them the time of day to listen to them, hear them out. If they're correct, change your standing point, don't be rigid in your view. And the second type of hate, like I said, there is valid hate. Well, there are more examples of valid hate, but those are my two. You can think of more, you can list them down below. I'm talking about invalid hate now. So invalid hate, there is hate that's not valid, that's unwarranted. I just give the example of the person who is friends with my friend that I have never met, that I've never had an encounter with. She just hates me for what she's heard about me. Very weird, but I'll respect it. So when some people hate you, they are dealing with their own issues and they are going through their own things, you know. So you have to be able to respect that. They're going through their own things, they're probably having their own personal things, but you represent that kind of harm that's happening in their lives. It's not about you, it's about whatever is going on in their life. So for example, if somebody was heartbroken and they come to you and talk to you about your heartbreak like it's about them, and you're like, how do you care for my situation like that when it has nothing to do with you? It's because they're projecting whatever is going on in their own life on you. So I'll give you an example of, there's a case of like infidelity. Infidelity happens to a lot of people and a lot of women are harmed by that. So they hate every single girl who they think they might be having an affair with married man. I'll give you an example. It doesn't have to be true, but they will hate you for that because they think you represent that harm that's happening in their lives. Is it valid to you? Well, I mean, if you're actually harming somebody else, you probably should consider not doing that anymore. But if they're just projecting something on you that has nothing to do with you, then that hate is invalid because you represent something that harms them. Whether it's, I'll give politics, different sides of the spectrum, another political party and another political party. If I think that political party harms me and you represent that, to me, you're my enemy. To me, you harm me. So I'm probably going to hate you, but ultimately, I really do hate what you do. I don't hate you as a person. I keep making that emphasis. You hate the thing, you don't hate the person. Okay? So understand that your haters hate something. They don't hate you, but they haven't processed it enough to understand whatever they're feeling. So most of the things people do have less to do with you and more to do with themselves. Perhaps your existence just triggers something that's going on innately, subconsciously within them. So how do you deal with that type of invalid hate? As always, I say take the time to take a step back and analyze the situation. Why does this person who doesn't know me or who hasn't engaged with me, who I've never encountered, hate me? So I get to think, okay, they hate me because of this that they see and whatever this that they say. Is there anything that I can change? If there's something that I can change, okay, go ahead. Maybe like I said, if you're harming somebody, probably consider changing. But if you're not harming anybody, then think about, okay, I'm not harming anybody in what I'm doing. I'm living my life and whatever. I represent something that's wrong to them. Cool. You analyze the situation and you respect that they're dealing with their own issues and you let it be. Our instinct as human beings is to react. So when somebody hates me, when somebody says lies about me, when somebody creates a story about me, my instinct is to defend myself. I'm going to want to say, okay, let me clear the air. Let me say the truth about my truth. Don't say untruth about me. From experience, defending yourself never ends well. You don't stand to gain much, and I say it truthfully. You don't stand to gain much because people love negativity. They grab it, they love it, it makes them feel good. People like to project, so they're going through those disagreeing views and they just love to know that you're also going through the same thing that they're going through. There is no need for you to prove your truth. If it's true, it'll come to light. You don't need to prove it. There is no need to prove truth. You don't need to fight for truth. You don't need to push truth to light. I talk about truth in relation to light and darkness. Where there's truth and it's light and lies are darkness. Come what may, the truth will be true and it will come out like light. You know, when light comes out, it comes out of the darkness and the darkness disappears. Light doesn't have to fight darkness. You know, when light disappears, then darkness has room to come through. So just be a light, continue being a light, continue being truthful. Your truth will come out, but you don't need to defend yourself. If you even have just the slightest hunch that somebody's hate for you has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own personal qualms, let it go. You know, you look at somebody and you're like, you hate me because of what? Okay, you might be dealing with some issues. Maybe there is something that you went through, that you're going through, and other people's pain is valid. So you say, okay, you're going to heal in your own time, and it's not my job to heal you. So if I'm the one that you must project on, fine, obviously it's going to take strength, and it's not the right thing. It mustn't happen to anybody. We must all deal with our emotions and we must process, but most of us haven't had the chance to go to therapy. Some of us don't have the emotional intelligence because we haven't learned how to deal with our emotions or how to validate them and how to process them. So in my opinion, let it go. They're gonna heal in their time, and hopefully if they ever heal, then they'll be able to process that this has nothing at all to do with you. So an example 2 on invalid hate is confused admiration. I have gone through this, and I mean going through it in hating other women, hating other people, and now I'm more aware of that. So for me, it's confused admiration / intimidation. I have some women who now that I'm able to process it, I just know that they intimidate me. And I'm able to process that and say, you intimidate me because you're doing something I would rather be doing, and I am able to turn that into inspiration. But if you're not aware of that, if you're not honest with yourself to say, yeah, I don't like that you intimidate me because you're doing what I would rather be doing and I don't know how to be doing what I would want to be doing, then I turn that to hate. I'm not able to process that, so that immediately turns to hate. So these people who admire you, they want something about you. So they want maybe your job, they want your life, they want your partner, they want your car. They want maybe, sometimes I've heard this cliche quote, but some people might even hate you for the way other people love you. You know, they hate that other people love you, so they want to hate on you. The other thing is they might hate your guts, so you're able to stand up for things. And fear is something we've been taught all our lives. So most of us have been taught fear, and we're so afraid that when we see other people who are so strong, we go with the reaction that who does she think she is? Who does he think he is? Why does he think he can do that? When you know that I can't do it because I have been taught fear, but I'm not able to process that. So the easy thing is to hate the people who have the guts. So who do you think you are? I remember somebody telling me, this is another story, but a friend of mine was like, I was having an argument with somebody today about you. So they were talking about that you think you're a goddess, and I was telling them that no, you're the most humble person, you're good vibes and all that. And to me, I was like, no, you don't need to fight with a person about what they think of me, because obviously they're dealing with their own issue and they view me a certain way. And I read something on Twitter that said, your truth is your truth. It might not be my truth, and my truth remains my truth, but whatever you perceive me as, if you think of me as a goddess, and you're going to say she thinks she's a goddess, now you think I'm a goddess, and that's okay, that's your perception, and you need to be able to process that better to turn it around. Somebody said, oh, she thinks she's a social media darling. I don't think of myself that way, but you think of me that way, then you project it on me. We need to be able to understand that our people's perceptions of us and might not be our truth, and that's okay. It's about them, it's about whatever they're going through. So it's confused admiration. Maybe they see you that way because they would want to be that, people say, oh, she thinks she's beautiful. It's because you think they're beautiful, and that's your definition of beauty. And why do you think that is beautiful? Is that what you would want to look like? People should be able to process that. So maybe I'm sharing this on both sides, that you're the hater or you're the hated, so you're kind of able to process on both sides, because I think we're all human and we all like and dislike things. That's human nature. I like some things, I dislike some things. So I don't think I'm above people who hate other people. I just think there are people who are not able to process their emotions to a certain level. The only reason I'm able to process my emotions better is because I've been exposed to some things that somebody else may not have had the privilege to be exposed to them. So the only reason I'm probably more emotionally intelligent than another person is because I have had the exposure that somebody else has had. So it has nothing to do with me being better. It just means I've been exposed to some knowledge that somebody hasn't had. So we live in a comparative world. We're constantly comparing ourselves. Oh, I drive this car, this person. I mean, it's like admiration. It's seeing nice things. We all want nice things for ourselves, and we've been raised in that kind of society that's always teaching us how we must compare ourselves. So we look at somebody else's car. Oh, why do they have that car? And I look back at my own car and I'm like, no, I want their car. I want to have their life. Oh, I look at their partner. Oh, that guy is so handsome. Well, at least that's what the world says about them. Oh, that guy is so brilliant. I want his guts. I want his whatever. So we're always comparing, and if we're not able to process that comparison, then it can quickly turn to hate. And how do you solve that type of hate? In my opinion, there is absolutely nothing you can do about somebody admiring you. They see you doing a thing and they want to be you. There is nothing you can do about that, unless you want to give them a part of you, which in my opinion, if somebody doesn't like you and you're giving them the time of day, there is nothing to gain. They already don't like you, unless they heal to a point where they're able to engage with you and give you the time of day and allow you to express yourself and hear you out. There is no point trying to give them the time of day. So there's nothing you can do about that. You just continue doing you, as long as you're not harming anybody. And I'm saying this repetitively because if you're actually harming someone, you should change that. But if you're not harming anybody, if you're just living your life, if you're just being about you, continue doing that. There's nothing you can do about somebody wanting your life, unless you want to give them your car or your house or your partner. I wouldn't know why you want to do that. But just continue being you. Be genuine and remain you. So the other thing for me that works in dealing with hate, and this is almost conclusive, is avoidance. Avoid people who don't like you. Avoid being in the same space with them. Avoid being in situations that would lead to you responding to them and going back and forth. Because what I know for a fact is people who don't like you want your attention. The thing about hate is I say it's a man-made emotion. I mean, I know dislike is natural, but hate in itself, the extremity of it, is a man-made emotion. So being something that is learned, being something that is taught to us, it requires constant validation. So if I hate you, I constantly want to know that my hate for you is valid. So I'm going to go to lengths all the time to prove it. So the length is they'll poke at you, they'll say things about you. What they want is a reaction from you. And if you don't give them the reaction, which is one thing I said, don't give them the reaction, avoid. If you continue not giving them the reaction, they're going to now seek that validation elsewhere. That's when we see malicious gossip coming up, because okay, so you're not validating me, but now I gotta talk to other people and see if they also feel the same way about you. So now there is malicious gossip going around and people are talking about you and all that stuff. Keep avoiding, because people just want that validation. People just want to know that they get to you, and all they're doing is projecting whatever is going on in their lives on you. You're going to waste a lot of time if you're going to be addressing haters and letting them take up your space. I've been there, so I'm speaking from experience. The other thing I always refer to in terms of hate is the Beyonce / Kim Kardashian effect. This is my own theory that as a media person, as a media personality that's hoping to grow in that line, I think about that often. You would never see Beyonce going at it with anybody. You won't even hear her talking to anybody about nothing unless she actually wants to. So that turns Beyonce into almost a god of sorts. She marginalizes people who hate her to a point that they don't matter. That's why you have the whole beehive defending her, because she doesn't speak back. She doesn't need to. Now there is a Kim Kardashian effect. She's evolving now. I love that. But before, she was so accessible. People would say things about her, she responds. Well, this is certain ways she acts. She's seeking some sort of attention, she's firing back. That makes her feel to people that don't like her accessible. They know that if I talk about you, it gets to you, it affects you. That's the validation that haters need. You're giving them that sense of satisfaction that they can get to you. So avoid. Just avoid, because that turns you into almost a god. And I know I've seen that in a Beyonce, and I've said, okay, you can choose to be a Beyonce, or you can choose to be a Kim Kardashian, or at least former Kim Kardashian, how she used to handle herself in the media, or you can handle yourself as a Beyonce. People are going to say whatever they're going to talk, and you're just going to continue being you and winning and being the best at what you do. Understand that people are fighting their own battles and commit to being kind. Just continue being you, continue being a light, continue being kind, graceful, and people are going to continue battling whatever they're battling, and they're going to eventually heal, and we can only hope that they heal. Now, beyond kindness, because I think of myself as a kind person, and I would never block anybody, because I was always empathetic in that way, that even people who speak unkindly of me, it's because they're dealing with their own issues. So I would say, okay, I'm going to give people a chance to learn and heal and whatever. It doesn't work for anybody, and it's not your job. Some friend of mine said, it's not your job to teach everybody. It's not your job to make everybody heal. You're not a therapist. You can't help everybody heal, and it's okay. You can let them heal at their own time. If they are harassing you, if they are attacking you all the time, honey, block, mute, and follow, restrict. I started doing that recently. It's so peaceful, because my timelines on, especially online, are so peaceful now. I'm not able to see anybody who is triggered by me. And the funny thing is, I've noticed that people who would say some weird negative stuff about me, the moment I blocked them, they blocked me back, because they were like, whoa, yeah, finally, the attention that they wanted, they got it, and they're also buying their own piece. It's a weird thing that they're processing, and you have to allow them to do that. So these are just a few examples of hate and how you can, or how I deal with it. You can suggest your own ways of how to deal with hate, and how you deal with having haters, or how you deal with being a hater. And this is my note and probably last point. No, not the last point. I have last but one point. Center love. Center love in everything that you do. I think I read something from a friend of mine who said, I want to be known for my love. I want to walk around and people should feel my love. Now, I've read a lot of articles, and when I was writing the article, you can see it on the blog, when I was writing the article about this, people were like, oh, how do you use hate to fuel you and all of that. What you do is you're dwelling in negativity. So I mean, yes, it will fuel you. You want to do things, and I've done it before. You want to do things to push some people, to prove some people wrong. You want to do things like, I want to succeed at this, so those people can know I could do it. You can center them, but I don't find that the most perfect thing, because you're constantly exposing yourself to that negativity. So I decided to center love. I decided I'm not going to be the person that's going to be focusing on who hates me anymore. And that was a huge active choice for me. And it was so helpful, because now I'm constantly thinking of who loves me, who supports me, and that's who I do it for. I'm no longer trying to prove people wrong. I'm trying to prove people right. So I'm trying to prove the ones who support me, who think greatly of me, who see me as I see me, that they see that you can become all of this, you're going to become all of this, and those are your supporters. They're rooting for you. Prove them right. Love is so much more pleasant. Love is much softer, and it's so much more pleasant to be around. And I read a quote by Viola Davis which said that I don't have the time to stay up late at night thinking about what somebody who doesn't love me has to say about me. That's so important. Somebody who doesn't have the kind heart for you, and you're constantly thinking about what they think of you. No, there's a lot of people who love you, and think about them, because then you're also giving them the time and the love back. The more you're dwelling in hate, you don't have the time to think about the people who love you and love those people back. Now, this is my principle. As long as you're well-meaning, as long as your intentions are pure and genuine, the universe will eventually conspire in your favor. So no matter what people say about you, no matter what is being said about you, people who hate you and whatever, if your intentions are kind, if your intentions are well-meaning, they're genuine, they're good, eventually the universe will reward you for your good deeds. And so you don't have to prove anything to anybody. Just center love, continue doing the things that you do for people that love you, and the people who support you, no matter what crass is said about you out there. If they know, if they can feel your spirit, and that's your niche. If they can feel your spirit, if they can feel your genuinity, they're going to stick by you. So to conclude, these are my 2 rules of thumb. Number 1, assess if the situation has anything at all to do with you. If it has nothing to do with you, then let it go. It has nothing to do with you and there's nothing you can do about it. Rule of thumb number 2. This is the 90-10 theory that we have almost about everything. Likely there's always 90% of goodness in the world, because I say goodness is natural, badness is the unnatural thing, or this learned thing. So there's always 90% of goodness, but because badness hurts, because that hate hurts, we dwell so much in it, we dwell so much in the hurt that we give it so much of our time. But if you can center the light, you see that, okay, there's so many people who are following you, who are supporting you, who are loving your light. And dwell in that. Dwell in the people who love you. And for the people who don't like you, like I said, avoid them. Completely avoid them until they don't matter anymore. Now the last part of this video is about harassment. People harassing you. That's the worst part, and I have experienced it multiple times, and more so very recently. So the fact that hate needs validation means people are going to go to extremes to want to get at you, and especially in this digital age, that can quickly turn into harassment. And I'll tell you this about harassment: it's illegal and punishable by law. So when somebody is harassing you, whether it's in person or online, report it to your nearest police station. Report it to them and let the law take its course. Don't take matters into your own hands. We'll break down very soon how you can report your harassment cases to the police, as I'm still learning and I'm still navigating that space. So if you like that content and you love the video, please like this video if you like it, and then subscribe to catch the next video. I'll be seeing you very soon. Until then, remain kind.